Welcome to the MAG Network Podcast.
Okay, hello and welcome to another edition of the MAG Network Podcast. Today I'm speaking to Elaine from the Wirral. Elaine, would you like to introduce yourself first of all?
Hi, Colin. Yes, thank you. Yeah, my name's Elaine Velho. I'm a Wallasey born and bred in Wirral. I'm a biker, I'm a driver and a pedestrian.
Excellent. So obviously we've invited you along to the podcast to talk about the recent demonstration you did against the 20-mile-an-hour speed limits that they're looking to introduce. Do you want to give us a bit of a background? What exactly is going on there in the Wirral?
Yeah, so Wirral Borough Council, I think it was at the back end of last year, they created a discussion, for want of a better word, but it was so cleverly hidden as it was in a local free newspaper that nobody gets, or hardly anybody gets. And it was also on their website, which, unless you were looking for it, you wouldn't go to, asking for opinions on the proposals for the first phase of their 20-mile-an-hour scheme. I didn't know about it. Most of the people I have spoken to didn't know about it. So when all of a sudden people start seeing 20-mile-an-hour signs coming up and roads being painted, people are like, well, hang on a minute, what on earth's going on here? And I think in total at the time, Wirral Borough Council, they got something like 919 respondents out of a population of 300,000 people. And although 67% of the people who did respond were against this blanket 20-mile-an-hour policy, the council decided to ignore it. So that's got a few backs up, to be quite honest with you. And we were starting to see these 20-mile-an-hour signs and what have you, restrictions going into some peculiar roads, arterial roads around Wirral. And the second phase has also come up and was completed. We don't know what the second phase opinions are and how many people have now engaged with the council, because it is now more widely known. And so we're still waiting for those. I think they're due out in December. In the meantime, and I've never been political, and I'm not political, because I'm a biker, we were all sort of talking about this amongst ourselves as bikers and a group of us. And we're all saying, well, this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ludicrous. And then, of course, we see what's happening in Wales. And obviously everybody knows about the huge petition that has gone to the Senedd in Wales. We started, a group of us, just a few of us, maybe half a dozen of us, started going to the council meetings, particularly the committee, the environmental committee that is involved in implementing all of this. And we were hearing things and we were looking at things thinking, this just doesn't take account of anything that the public are wanting. It is completely being railroaded through. And so we've been to, I think, 2 of the committee meetings and 2 full council meetings to protest. And the last one last month was the big council meeting that we went to on our bikes in conjunction with MAG. As I say, I'm a MAG member. And it was great that there was I think there was about 40 of us turned up. And went into the meeting as well. And some of us, again, were asking questions of the council. So that's kind of where we're up to date. We also have, there's a change.org petition that has been instigated, which has got now over 7,000 signatures. We smashed the 5,000 deadline to get it to council. And hopefully that is now going to be submitted to council. To Wirral Borough Council for the next big meeting, I think. But regardless, Wirral Borough Council are not listening to objections. They are ploughing ahead regardless. And of course, we've been watching the same happening in Wales, although today I see that Flintshire Council are undoing the 20 on 10 roads in their borough. But there are more and more phases to the scheme that we've got in Wirral. More and more roads are being affected. We have given statistics to the council and they're ignoring them. They have thrown statistics at us, and we've repeatedly asked for evidence of how this scheme is affecting the roads in Wirral, not somewhere in London or anywhere else, the roads in Wirral. What analysis has the council got of the impact on the roads that they are changing the speed limits on? We've got nothing back yet, nothing at all. So that's kind of where we're at.
So obviously, you say that you've been to the sort of like the public council meetings. Have there been any sort of I could put it, meetings with officials been offered or taken place? Have they really engaged with you, or has it just been a case of literally just ignoring everything?
No, they're not engaging. I mean, obviously they're responding to our questions submitted days in advance so they can prepare their answers. We cannot then prepare our response back to their answers, but there's very little engagement. I came across a video clip which quite clearly one of their councillors, Steve Fabs, where he says this is about getting cars off the road. And I put that to him at the last meeting. He was furious about that. And I emailed him saying, but you did say this, and here is the clip that you actually said it. Oh, well, you're taking it out of context. So even when we get hard evidence, they are still wheedling their way out of this and refusing to engage with us. It's going to be better for the environment. It's all about getting, people onto their bicycles or walking and things. This is ludicrous. With an aged population, and it's all being funded from central government. So it comes down, although we've got a predominantly Labour council, this is not party political. Central government is sending the money to the Liverpool City region, and then sending the money to the various councils to improve, reduce emissions, blah, blah. We all know what this is about. The 15-minute city business and what have you is all part of it. This funding has to be spent by the council in improving air quality, in improving, reducing accidents and what have you. Understandable. But the method that they're doing it is a blanket policy, does not take into account how it's going to affect people who ride and drive. They are not producing significant information to support their idea that this is going to reduce accidents. It seems to be a very ill thought out scheme, and all we want to do is to engage with the council saying, look, can we take a more common sense, rational approach? It's no good cutting all the arterial routes to 20 miles an hour, and they're saying it's going to add 1 minute to a journey. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous for somebody who is dependent on their method of transport for their living. Delivery drivers, buses, we're already seeing from Wales that they're saying this is having an impact. So that's kind of what we've been trying to get the council to listen to common sense. But they've got their head in the sand, they're on a mission, and that seems to be it. So they're not listening.
Yeah, I did notice that. I think Dave Pearson, wasn't it? He managed to get onto a phone in with the Liverpool region mayor, who seemed to basically be denying all responsibility for it.
BBC Radio Merseyside.
Dave Pearson is the Wirral rep for Motorcycle Action Group. Wants a quick word with our Metro Mayor. Hi, Dave, you're on.
Hi, Tony. Hi, Philip. This 20 mile an hour speed limit is very unpopular in Wirral. The petition against it got over 7,000 signatures, and the council's own consultation showed 66% of people against the 20 mile an hour speed limit. The policy is funded by the Liverpool City region. Will you listen to the people and stop wasting money on this scheme?
Well, I don't think it's a waste to go out and consult with people. The whole idea is to hear their views, and that's why we did go to consultation. But each area, so we've got 6 local authorities in the Liverpool City region, they will decide on what's best for their area. I'm not imposing anything from the centre. One of the great things about devolution is that we don't need London to tell us what to do.
What's the main reason you don't want that, Dave?
We don't mind the speed limit outside schools or where there's vulnerable people, but it's like a blanket 20 mile an hour being brought in by stealth in 4 phases. We've got phase 1 that's happened, phase 2 is going on at the moment, and eventually lots of roads will be 20 mile an hour when there's no need for it. You've got a clear road ahead of you and you're crawling along at 20 miles an hour. That's our objection to it.
Steve?
Yeah, I mean, this is not my decision, so it's for the local authority. In this case, it's for Wirral or for Liverpool or St Helens or whoever to look at what they want to impose in their own particular areas.
Says, well, yes, I'm providing the funding, but it's the local decision by the council. So it seems like everybody's trying to wash their hands of the decision once people start objecting to it, rather than actually engaging with people and asking what their opinion is before they make the decision.
Yeah, ditto the MP. I mean, I wrote to Angela Eagle, the MP for Wallasey, and basically they don't get involved in council business. Interestingly, though, one of the councillors is a supporter of Angela Eagle. He actually helps her with various campaigns. So it depends on what day of the week it seems to be that and who's going to do what. And it is frustrating. The government will not get involved in council because all of this stuff has now been devolved to council. So if your council aren't listening and your MPs can't listen because of whatever, sort of policies are now in place, then, you feel like you're beating your head against a brick wall. Literally, nobody wants to engage with us, the electorate, which is pretty infuriating, to be honest.
Yes, I mean, from your sense, obviously, you've spoken to numerous people in the area. What's your sense? Are there many supporters? Have you been able to find many supporters of this blanket 20-mile-an-hour speed limit approach, or is it a case of? I mean, councils often say this. Well, yeah, the silent majority want this, but when you actually go looking for that silent majority, they seem to be nowhere to be found. Is that your experience there?
Yeah, absolutely it is. I think the vast majority of people who are road users in whatever capacity are against this. The fact that the council have only had petitions submitted in the past of 30 to 50 people, and we have a petition now with over 7,000 names on it. Just change.org. It's just organically grown. And that people are okay. That is not representative of the vast majority of the people in Wirral, of course, because there's a 300,000 population. But it is people who are actively saying, no, we don't want this. We absolutely don't want this. And speaking to people that we know, people say this is ludicrous. Yes, we all agree. I don't think anybody has disagreed with the idea of putting 20-mile-an-hour speed restrictions around schools or a hospital. But to do it on every residential road, Wirral is a massive residential area. You can drive from one end of Wirral to the other without leaving, a residential area almost, or going across Wirral. So this idea that it's going to only add a minute to our journeys, that it's not going to increase emissions, that it's going to improve air quality, and that it's going to save lives. There's nowhere in what the council have told us, and we have asked these questions, to state where the accidents and the lost lives are. They will use the tactic of, don't you care about lives? Yes, of course we do. We also care about livelihoods. Yeah. How many people are going to face financial hardship because they cannot do the deliveries, or that they cannot, how many companies are going to start withdrawing their facilities? Yes, of course we care about lives. I think on average there's 5 lives a year lost on the roads of Wirral. 5 lives too many. We'd all agree. I don't think there's a person among us that we know. However, we don't know whether they were on 30-mile-an-hour roads previously, 40, 70. So where is it going to stop? Where are they going to, say, well, yes, for the sake of the whole community, yes, 5 lives is too many. And of course, there's the accident. But again, they're not telling us whether those accidents, which have actually been declining year on year and over the previous 10 years, we've got plenty of statistics from the government to back that. They're not telling us on which roads they were happening. The majority of roads are going to be 30, so you're going to get the majority of accidents and fatalities probably on a 30-mile, because most of our roads are 30. But they're not telling us how many of the accidents and the, what do they call them, the fatal accidents, KSI, serious killings and serious injuries. They're not telling us. They're just saying, well, we're going to make it a blanket policy, cut it from 30 to 20, end of.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, I think this is often the case. Is that yes, there may even have been fatalities on 30-mile-an-hour speed limit roads, but we don't actually know that the fatality was a result of somebody travelling at 30 miles an hour. It may have been somebody who was breaking the 30-mile-an-hour speed limit.
Absolutely.
So, there's an awful lot of detail that needs to be looked at when it comes to the statistics, and if they're not providing it, it tends to suggest that there's something there that they don't want you to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there was a tragedy. I mean, we all know about the fatality on the M53 motorway, a school bus recently. 2 fatalities. That was horrific, absolutely horrendous. But there was a fatality nearby in Hoylake about a month ago. An elderly lady walked behind a reversing vehicle in a 30-mile-an-hour zone. So that is, that sort of fatality, accidents will always happen, tragic as they are. And whilst we try and minimise, like being more sensible or whatever, this is imposing on those of us. You are not going to stop the reckless flyboys. You are not going to stop somebody who's going to do 90 in a 30. You're not going to stop it. They're still going to do it. So why are we all being punished for the majority of us are, being sensible? And that's what we're saying. Please, will you try and use some common sense and engage with us? And they don't want to. I know Dave Pearson asked at the council, why did the council not engage with MAG as they have done in the past? And there wasn't really a good answer to that. They didn't feel that they needed to. So they're surprised that people are getting up in arms against them. Yeah. I never thought I'd be involved in something like this to such an extent of active protest. But this is taking away our liberties again.
Yeah. So, obviously, there's been a certain amount of work up to this point. Have you got any future plans for now for where you go next with fighting this, or is it something that you feel that you kind of lost the battle and it's a no-win situation?
No, I think we should carry on, because we are observing now what's happening in Flintshire, what's happening in London, what's happening in Wales in general. We are observing to see different laws, different policies. I get that, but I don't think we want to let this go. It is quite soul destroying that we are walking up to a brick wall every time we go to the council. But I think there are other things that can happen. One, we need to see what the results of the second survey, for want of a better word, that the council have done. We want to see what that is. We want to see what else we can do. And the support of motoring organisations like MAG and like others would be very, very helpful. Other councils are going to be doing exactly the same. Oxford's already well underway. I think Bristol. There are other ones. Scotland, Glasgow. Lots of councils are, going to be imposing this. It's going to be nationwide. Also interesting to see what Rishi Sunak is going to do. There was a government paper from the Transport Secretary came out recently talking about, they're not happy about it. Well, that's fine, but what are you going to do about it? Mm-hmm. Is this just a pre-election ploy because they realise that the majority of people, motorists, are not happy about this, as is seen in London with the whole ULEZ thing? But what are they actually going to do about it? It's all very well and good saying that this is an attack on motorists. We know it's an attack on motorists. We very well know. But what are you doing about it? I don't care whether it's a vote winner for them. I just want them to do something about what they said they're going to do. So the 25-page document talks an awful lot about, this isn't right and that's not right. Correct. We know. What are you going to do? And as yet, we are not hearing what they're going to do.
Yes, it is interesting to see that lots of promises get made, but with no clear understanding or explanation as to how they're going to make come to pass what they promise. It's very much a case of yes, we'll promise the earth, and once you've voted for us, we'll claim that we can't actually do it.
Yeah, precisely. And I think the other thing also is that although for Wirral Borough Council, if my memory serves me right, 30 Labour voted. The whole council voted in favour at the beginning. The whole council. 30 Labour. I think there was 17 Conservative, 13 Greens, and 6 Lib Dems off the top of my head. At the moment, Labour the Greens and the Lib Dems are still holding firm on that, so they have the majority, whereas the Conservatives now, seeing what's actually happening, are turning. Again, non-party political, but we can see what's going on. So it's never, there was a vote in the, after the last council meeting, there was a vote to try and get this paused. And because of the weight of the Labour, Lib Dems and Greens, Conservatives were completely outvoted. Everybody knew they would be. So again, you can't, excuse me, you can't get anywhere with the council. They have their hard line, and that's what they're sticking to. So no matter who we've got on our side at the moment, it's never going to turn the tide. And they're holding firm.
Yes, yeah. This is it. Like I say, it's one of these. It's an uphill battle. Obviously, by the time the next elections come around, is it still going to be on the table for us to get a reversal of it, or are they going to thrust this through before it's election time? So yeah, we will see, and we will keep monitoring it. Obviously, MAG as an organisation will back the activities that you're taking as far as we possibly can.
Thank you.
And hopefully we'll get the right outcome for us all in this one.
Yeah, common sense, I think, is what we're after. Really, a common sense approach to an issue that people are against. That's all we're asking for. Yeah.
Sadly, common sense is no longer very common, is it?
Short supply. Short supply, Colin. Yeah, for sure it is. Yeah.
Okay, well that's excellent. I think we'll end it there. Thank you very much for your time this afternoon, Elaine, and hopefully we'll speak to you again in the not too distant future.
Thank you. Nice talking to you. Take care.